Hey guys, this is Nikki on FM 99, and I am here with Shaun of Seether. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Where are you these days right now?
I live in Nashville, so I'm at home. This is my little studio that I do all the songwriting and stuff in. So I'm just kind of I've been in here for a few hours doing a bunch of these, uh, speaking to some people around the countryside.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about your new album, no doubt.
Yes, yes, yes. It seems to be going well so far. Everyone seems to be really enjoying it. So we feel good, as a band. Obviously, if we were touring right now, we'd be having a much better time. But as we the best we can do right now is just get feedback from fans via the social media. But so far, everyone seems to be really digging it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It was released, let's see, August 28th. So
Yeah.
I say a couple weeks ago. Gosh, I guess it's been over a month now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening with the time, but so question for you. So the name of the album,
Yeah.
Civi Pacem Parabellum.
Hmm.
Um, that is a saying in The Punisher as well.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, is anybody like a fan, or is it,
No, excuse me. I've got allergies today. I liked the second Punisher guy, not the one we had a song in the first Punisher, with Thomas Jane. We had broken with Amy Lee, which is why we actually recorded that version because they told us, oh yeah, it's going to be in this love scene between the Punisher and Rebecca Romaine Stamos at the time. We were like, hell yeah, dude, that's a perfect soundtrack for a steamy love scene. And then it
yeah,
turned out it's like on the sink behind her, in front of her while she's doing the dishes, and it kind of playing through a little transistor radio as she walks down the hallway. I was like, man, they sold that awfully high and delivered it really, really low on that. But no, I didn't. I thought that Punisher was kind of okay. I haven't really followed the comics or anything. I started watching a bit of the TV series, but I didn't. It felt a little slow for me at times, so I kind of dipped out on that. But that one with the sort of broody, I think he's an Australian guy that played it. He was awesome. He was great. I like
yeah,
that one, that version. But yeah,
yes,
I didn't know that was in the Punisher. That's kind of cool, actually.
that is cool. Yeah, so that's kind of a happy coincidence. So going back to what you just said, did you know that they changed when it was going to play, or were you watching it, waiting for the steamy love scene, and like,
Oh,
what is
it was
happening?
it was so embarrassing because we were sitting at the time. We were still in South Africa at the time, and Dale and I had taken our respective girlfriends to the movie theater, and we were super excited because we were in the yeah. Well, it was also in Daredevil. Actually, it might have been Daredevil was the other one. We had a song where Ben Affleck climbs into that isobaric chamber, and when he comes out, we had a song playing that because at the time, the record company had a pretty good relationship with all of those movie companies, so every single soundtrack was curated by them. But that one was okay. And then when we saw the Punisher, we were like, man, it was so because we kept waiting for the scene, and we were like, yeah, it's gonna be great. There were no high fives, let's say, when we saw the final version of the song. So, I
So
think, and I believe it made another appearance in the credits, and I think we were so dejected at that point, we just walked out because it was like we were promised one thing, and obviously when it was kind of they could have really put any song on the planet on the radio at that time, and so it was really sort of meaningless. But it was, I will say, it was. I think our second time ever appearing in a movie, and it was kind of a big movie, so it felt cool. It just didn't feel as cool as we were expecting.
right, as suggested, it was going to
Yeah,
be.
exactly.
So funny. Okay, so you guys were here. Let's see, I got to meet you, was it 2 years ago, year and a half at the Norva here in Norfolk.
Yeah,
Um, I assume because the album just dropped, you guys would be back on tour now.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I know you've got the Rise Above Festival,
yeah.
right?
Well, that's been a bummer. It's been a really bumpy ride for the past few years because we had it. The first year was about probably 2012 or 13 in Guilford, New Hampshire, because that was right near the house that I lived at the time. And there were no festivals up in the Northeast. They were kind of rock. It was mostly country and pop stuff, and maybe some rock every once in a while, but not really sort of modern rock kind of stuff. So we did it there. It was first year. We threw it together pretty quickly. And then the next year we didn't work with that same venue because the venue owner was he was disappointed that he didn't make more money the previous time, basically. So then, because he was more about the profit than the cause. So we moved up to Bangor,
Right.
Maine, and we did 3 really strong years there. And then the fourth year of that, there was a big falling out between certain people that were running that venue and us as well. So we kind of parted ways, and then we lost that year as well. So then we were looking, can we do it, the year after that here in Nashville, so we could move it to be more central, because Bangor, Maine is about as far northeast as you can go. It's a cool little town, make no mistake, but it's pretty far on the American map as far northeast as you can get. So Nashville seems more centralized. So last year we got a stage at Exit 111, which is the festival that was taking place at the Bonnaroo site, but it was a rock festival. So that was great. We had a stage, and it was all the advertising, and we had the Save tent next to it and everything with all the literature, and we did some acoustic stuff that was really cool. And then we were supposed to do it this year, which clearly is not going to happen. So it's now been postponed for its relaunch and its rebirth like a phoenix from the ashes here in Nashville, probably sometime in August or September of next year, depending on venue availability and lineups and stuff like that. But that's the hope. If we don't get the kind of lineup that we'd want to really promote the cause and get the people to come and support the cause with us, then we'll push it again. We'll push it ahead another year. So we have because we don't want the new launch to be kind of a soft launch and basically have it fall apart. And the really sad thing is when we had Rise Above Fest, and the big sort of the activism for suicide awareness up in the Northeast, it was the biggest gathering in the world of its nature as far as coming together for suicide awareness. So it was kind of a record-breaking thing that we had done, and it's really disappointing and sad to see that it's now sort of disintegrated through no fault of ours.
Right.
But there was also we had previous managers that I think took some interesting steps that we weren't aware of. So there was a lot of sort of behind the scenes stuff that happened that we weren't aware of, and I actually came away from it feeling kind of dirty because we had the way we had been treated and without our knowledge. You know what I mean? It was like, it's fine if you treat me badly, and I know about it, but if you treat me poorly and I all along I think you've got my back, that was the really harsh part for me. But we'll get it back. We'll get it back next year.
Well, especially with it being for such a great cause, I mean.
Yeah, it just shows you though that even something for a great cause that has a real sort of pure core to what you're trying to achieve, people only care about money at the end of the day. There's some people that just cannot see beyond making that bottom line and making that dollar. So it's just been another lesson in humanity. Much like being in lockdown, you sort of find out the nature of people. And let's say, for example, you've put down a deposit for an event and you have to move the event, but the venue goes, no, you have to pay us now. You know what I mean? It's like, but hey, man, this wasn't our fault. Can you work? No, we can't work with you. So, or for I was supposed to be married now twice, and it's now been postponed for the third time. But there was a photographer that just bailed on us after he got this huge, he got a huge down payment. And then he just disappeared because he was going to try and take that deposit and then somebody else's money on the same, you know what I mean? He was double dipping for himself. And it's just been kind of disappointing and to see just how low people will stoop in the pursuit of their own happiness and everyone else be damned. So I'm trying to stay positive about humanity and kumbaya, but it's Jesus really doesn't seem like that exists anymore.
It is a tough time in the world to truly embrace that.
Well, it's crazy because it seems like now is the time when we should bring out the best of all of us, right? Especially when we're getting to a point where everybody's frustrated because geez, Tennessee's all but open right now. We're pretty close to open, but there's other places that I know of that it's almost, you still can't almost even leave your house, which you can only imagine gets to a point where you go, okay, well, we're all fed up. Let's all just band together for a cause and let's go out there and make some change. It's just I'm just kind of disheartened, I think, by the lack of community and the lack of just general society coming together to unite for the greater good of all of us. And I mean, I'm becoming cynical the older I get too. I swear to God, if the kid next door's ball comes in my backyard, he's not getting it back. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kick it over the fence the other way. But yeah, I'm trying to stay. He's just trying to stay positive. It's just we're just taking it a day at a time and see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, and especially now, especially for you, you'd be on the road right now, and we'd be at concerts, and I mean that doesn't help.
Well, it also opened my eyes to understanding that there's a cycle to our lives. The cycle basically is you do the album, you record the album, then there's a couple of months for setup, and then you go out and you tour the album for 18 months or so, right? And then
Right.
you come home, take a couple months off, then you write another album, you record that album, and it's just this cyclical thing. And you always take it for granted so okay, cool, I'm gonna be home for a year, everything's set, we're good, no worries for a year, and then next year we'll go back out and we'll earn a living again. And now I've been home for 2 years. If I mean, coming up in November, I've been home for 2 solid years, which is very strange for us. I mean, we're a touring band. In fact, we tour harder than most other bands, even at the baby band level. And much like another band that are a bunch of road dogs are the Seven Dust guys. Those guys tour
Yep.
extremely hard as well. So
Absolutely.
it's something that we love to do. And I'm finding an interesting thing happening with me now, though, that the I had my mindset right, dialed in for leaving the family and going on tour, which is a big mental adjustment to make.
Yeah.
But now I don't get to do it, so it's like this crash back to earth, and you go, okay, cool. And now what I'm finding is over the months, I don't know if I ever really want to go back to normal touring again, in the sense of get on a tour bus for 3 months and then just do the circuit, go from theater to theater to theater and do all the same places we always do. I think we've looked at it and said, no, let's do something different. Let's only do state fairs and radio shows and maybe do filler dates here and there. But then we can do the weekend warrior thing like the country guys do, which is they've had it dialed in for so long, and it's so smart because it really is a way to stay sane, because there is a big shift you have to make in your thought, in your thinking, because it's like every day I get up, have some coffee, watch the news or read the paper or whatever you do, whatever your routine is, and then we have to get up and then completely that disappears, and our family's routine kind of stays the same, and we have to go and we have to turn it up to 11, really.
Right.
And everyone thinks that it's super fun, and it is super fun when you're 21. It really is, man. You live out that cliche, and it's a blast. But when you have people that rely on you at home, and especially when you've been around them for so long that you're now part of the little biome that's here. Because when you leave on a tour for 3 months, right, and you come back and you're only back for 2 weeks, you kind of feel like you don't belong there for the first couple of days, because everything seems to be running just fine without you. So then what is your role? So you go,
Right.
do I even need to, you know what I mean? That's certainly how I've felt. And I think some of the other band guys have felt the same way, that if you put that long distance and then the short time back home and then another long break away from the family, it's not a break. I mean, they might break from, maybe they get a break from you,
Right.
but they instill, and it becomes this little biome without you. So then you come in and it's like, oh, okay, where do I fit? I don't quite know. And then as soon as you figure out, you're like, oh, I gotta go tour again. So it's like, it's mentally quite a roller coaster ride. But yeah, I mean, we would love to be touring. We'd love to be at the venues, and we'd love to be, meeting fans and doing the stuff that was normal. And I'm at the very beginning of all of this, I really bit the whole pandemic thing hook, line, and sinker. But I must say, as the months have gone by, I'm starting to find more and more curiosities about, and I know again, I was just talking about it's all driven by the bottom line, right? So it's okay to have a Walmart be open all this time, because why? They pay huge amounts of taxes. So
Right.
that's why they'll never shut them down. But if you're a mom and pop business, you can't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem fair. And there's all of these people that their livelihoods are busy dying off. And I think, there's a spike in suicide, spike in divorce, spike in addiction. All of this has been terrible just across the board. And I don't know, I don't have any of the answers, but I'm saying I think we're getting to a point where I'm no longer afraid of anything as far as this pandemic goes. I would rather take my chances now, and at least, because it's no way to live in this amount of fear, with this amount of restriction on I became an American citizen because this is the greatest place to be on the planet if you want freedom, right? And this is the greatest place to be, where you can express yourself freely and not have that, like, be arrested and thrown in prison because the government
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's not
Right.
one of those kinds of places. So I think, we started in March and it's now October, and I mean the 2 weeks to slow to flatten the curve has now become 8 months to slow the roll. I don't know. It's like I'm sort of losing enthusiasm for everything right now. So I'm at the point where I'll draw the line in the sand and say, look, if we can tour tomorrow, maybe we will, because I think at some point we've had all this information come in now. We all know what the risks are, and I think it should be up to people to take on that risk for themselves. I think because if you're a free U.S. American adult, then you should be able to make decisions like that for yourself. As far as healthcare decisions, I mean, this is the one time when I think it's been, if you look at just the numbers and everything in general, it's been very well, very well hyped to the point where there was a lot of fear in the. I thought we were going to die in the beginning. Honestly, that's what we were told, right? This is doomsday. Yeah. So I'm at the point now. I was like, come on, guy. I mean, just look at the numbers, dude. This is now it's just become a little bit just annoying. But we look forward to touring again. Obviously, when the time comes.
We definitely look forward to it as well.
Yeah, thank you. And but I'm hoping that we can tour this album before it becomes an album that's been out for a year. You know what I mean? Or an album that's been out for a year and a half. Because then it feels like, well, damn, we might as well then just write another album, put out another new album, and then tour on that album. You know what I mean? I mean, kind of. I don't know. It's just such a weird space to be in. I don't really. I go up and down every day, and I change my mind from this side to this side, and I have because one day I'm like, yeah, let's go tour, and the next day I'm like, it's kind of cool being at home.
Yeah.
So it's a real roller coaster.
Richard on Facebook said, "Amazing album from front to back, much needed. Thank you, Shaun."
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? I worked really hard on this one, and I'm really proud of it. We ended up recording 21 tracks for the album. I wrote about 45 songs for the album, but the 21 we recorded, we've got 5 more that are in the can right now for a future release down the line. But yeah, I'm really proud of this one. Thank you.
Good. Mike wants to know if Seether has plans for another acoustic album.
This has come up a lot, actually. No hard and fast plans, but certainly it has been spoken about. Kind of, we don't know if we want to do like a One Cold Night sequel and do another, just play our songs acoustic. There might be even a thing where we come down the line, and because of all this time we have in our hands, we might just do an acoustic album or an acoustic EP. But there's definitely talk right now about, or there's the idea has been thrown around about us doing a second acoustic album. Yeah.
I love that. And then you guys have 3 of your classic albums, Disclaimer 2, Karma and Effect, Finding Beauty in Negative Spaces, coming out on vinyl for the first time ever, which is super exciting as far as I'm concerned, because I'm all about vinyl.
Yeah, well, you see, it turns out that the way to sell vinyl is not to sell black vinyl, because it's boring, right? People don't want the black albums. They want the red ones and the pink ones and the orange ones and the blue ones and the spotty ones and the see-through ones. I was like, oh, so that's why we didn't sell any vinyl up until like the pandemic, because we've seen a really encouraging explosion in that. We've sold out of limited editions over and over and over again, especially of the new album and even of some of the old releases that we've re-released on vinyl. They've been doing really well. So. And it turned out the trick was just to use cool colors, because I had given up completely. I thought that we were just one of those bands that had kind of skipped the cool vinyl gang, And so it turns out I was wrong, and I'm actually very happy about that. But yeah, it's been doing really well for us, and I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that, because I know we're gonna. It's 3 of the, and all of the back catalogs gonna be released on vinyl. So we've got some more coming down the pipeline as well.
That is awesome. Dave wants to know, is it true your name came from a Veruca Salt song, and have you met them?
Yes, it came from Seether, absolutely. I've met one of the drummers. He wasn't the original drummer, but I think he was the second or third drummer for Veruca Salt. Very nice guy. But I also heard that they were kind of angry about us using that as a band name, and I don't know why that would be the case, because I was a big fan of Veruca Salt as a kid, and much like I was a fan of L7, Babes in Toyland, all of those those all female grunge bands. I thought, or female fronted grunge bands were great. But it was funny, at one point we were touring and we were just behind them on a tour. So every venue we played, there was like Veruca Salt on Wednesday, there was Seether on Friday. So it was kind of cool. It was good advertising for them, I thought. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle was like Steven Seagal. It was fun. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, look, I know you've got a million of these things going on, and I so appreciate your time. The album, Sibi Pacem Parabellum, came out in August. The vinyl we talked about comes out November 13th, just in time for Christmas. And, I look forward to seeing you guys again, hopefully really soon.
Yeah. We will. hopefully be out as soon as we can. You guys know that if we do, we'll definitely be through Norfolk again. The Norva is one of my favorite venues to play, and it's notoriously difficult to get ticket sales there. But in the past few times we've been there, it's been a great blast. So we hope to be there soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. I love seeing you guys there. It's one of my favorite venues to see you guys at. So
yeah, awesome.
for sure. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Be safe out there, and keep
too.
writing.
Oh yeah. Thank you. You too. Be safe. Thank
All
you.
right, Shaun, thanks.